So, Art Animations was going to be working on this caveman movie known as Crude Awakening, and this is what it looked like. They eventually did come out under the title Early Man, which is a movie that nobody's ever talked about. But DreamWorks still owned the rights to the movie. They eventually got Chris Sanders, who's the man behind Lilo and Stitch, to do it. But then he's like, you know what, I want to work on How to Train Your Dragon instead. So, like 10 years after being announced, we finally got DreamWorks' Caveman movie. And messy is the best way to describe the Croods. A messy development and a kind of a messy film. Rewritten a million times to an movie. It's a movie that people like, but I'm not sure how many people remember it, to be honest. At least compared to its superior sequel, that is. So the movie is about the Croods. Roll credits, I know. And they're cavemen, if you couldn't tell. I mean, it's literally called the Croods. I mean, I don't know why that would give it away that's a caveman movie, but you look at this, you know what you're getting. So, what do? Well, they run out and they hunt, but they don't go out their cave. Because if they do, they'll die. So, the world is very dangerous, and their dad, who's played by Nicolas Cage, and who's probably the best character just because of the fact that he's played by Nick Cage. I mean, you're obviously always going to get a good performance that way, but unfortunately, most of the other characters aren't that great. In fact, most of them don't even have much character at all. Now, even though they're cavemen, they go for the same basic family tropes you've seen a million times. The dad is the overprotective dad who doesn't like strangers and shit like that. The reason that his character's not that bad is because he's played by Nicolas Cage, and that basically makes any character better. And he has a daughter who is the daughter who doesn't want to do the normal thing, and wants to do her own thing, wants to get with a guy, and that's about it. And there's the mom who doesn't do anything but get a haircut change later in the movie. Like, the mom does literally jack shit. There's also a baby that also doesn't do anything but eat stuff, I guess. I mean, as a baby, so because it has an excuse. There's also the lame son who sucks at everything, and he's a dork, I guess. Not really, just because there's nothing to dork out about. He sucks. There's also Grandma, but she's actually dead.
Still alive!
And the Grandma character is the wacky old lady with an attitude. You haven't seen that a million times. This is the same archetype that's in the fucking Lorax of all movies. You do not want to imitate the Lorax. Not the book's great, but not the movie. The movie fucking sucks. So most of the time they spend in the cave because it's a scary world out there for a toy. Well, another caveman. And Grug here is like tells a story every night about basically the same thing. Don't be an asshole or go out or you'll die.
To climb to the top. And no sooner than she climbed to the top, she saw something new and died.
Just like that?
The funniest thing is that every one of these stories he tells ends the same way. Just them dying, and it's actually one of the only funny things in the movie, because the movie is not very funny, unless you think cavemen running around and screaming is funny. This movie's for you. So, the daughter, whose name is Eep, decides to be rebellious and go outside the cave.
At night.
And she's not supposed to leave the cave.
At night.
She finds this guy, whose name is literally Guy. Great name. I mean, it actually is a real name. Like, who the hell names their kid Guy? If you're one of these people, what is wrong with you? And he is voiced by Ryan Reynolds. He used to be an actor, but now he's just a shill for this Mint Mobile thing, which I have no idea what the fuck it is, but I keep getting ads for it all the fucking time on my TV when I watch YouTube. Because I like watching YouTube on TV sometimes. Sue me. I don't have ad block on fucking TV. Stop making fucking Mint Mobile ads. I don't fucking get it. So Eep here likes Guy here because she's like the only guy she's ever seen, basically. Because who else she's gonna be attracted to? Her fucking brother. Have you seen her brother? He looks like fucking shit. So yeah, she gets attracted to this guy who's a sloth as a partner for some reason. I don't get it. And he's like, there's gonna be an end of the world or some bullshit like that. And they play unfunny jokes about it constantly. Was that funny? Well, too bad. So the end, as it's called, comes and destroys their precious cave.
Your oh so special
Cave. So the rest of the movie is just the Croods, who, like I said, don't have much of a character, or than one, because he's voiced by Nicolas Cage, and that's about it. They go through the jungle and shit, and it would be interesting, but they really don't do a lot with it. They'll do some things that look interesting, but then they'll just kind of go away from it and just focus on boring caveman shit. And that's most of the movie. So they put Guy here in a log. Yeah, they found him again, and he gets stuck in the log. This log is not the same log that's from the iconic movie Over the Hedge, with this iconic log that everybody loves.
I made a decision. We're going to that mountain.
So they're like, we should go this way, but the guy's like, go to the mountains because the mountains. They really don't give a lot of reason. This movie is made for like 2-year-olds, I think, because they don't explain anything very well. Like, I know, just go to the mountains. And he's like, well, let's go to the mountains then. Also, Grug tells another amazing story.
Once upon a time, there was a little tiger who lived in a cave with her family. There were a lot of rules, but the big, simple one was to never leave the cave at night. And the door was so heavy, you'd think it would be easy to remember.
So easy to remember.
I know. But while everyone was asleep, she went out anyway.
No!
Yes, and no sooner than she did, their cave was destroyed and everyone had to go on this long, sucky walk with some weirdo they met and die.
So I decided to show you that clip because I just want to showcase a clip that's actually funny in this movie, because most of the scenes really aren't. They're kind of boring and kind of lame, to be honest. But a guy decides that he wants to top the story that Grug just told, which is kind of hard to beat, because that was a pretty amazing story, if you ask me. And this story sucks because it's about a tiger that flies, and that's it. And it flies to tomorrow. That sucks. The tiger doesn't even die at the end of the story. So look how lame this scene is, where they're stepping on rocks that are supposed to be sharp. Their reactions aren't funny at all. They're kind of like, don't do it. And they, don't do it? They do it, and it's not funny, because they don't have a funny scream. They have really lame reactions, and just watch this.
Ow! Do not step on those weird, pointy rocks.
You mean these rocks? Ow! Oh, do not step on these rocks!
You couldn't guess these characters are fucking stupid, and they literally say later they're dumb. I know they're cavemen, but it's not fun to watch characters that are just retarded the whole movie.
Hello? Nobody's listening. No one is listening. You cannot walk on those.
Unfortunately, the log here has to be thrown away, and Vern goes along with it, I guess. Also, they reference fucking Uggs, which are the ugliest shoes ever. I don't know why they're in this movie. It makes the movie automatically worse.
I don't have a brain.
So guys here says that you are fucking stupid, and that is why you're a shit character. Fuck you, kid. Also, the mom gets a haircut change. That's very important. Just kidding, it's not. So for some reason, Grug here is like, I'm gonna be a hipster inventor, because he wants to be cool, because, I don't know, it's kind of stupid.
Call this a snapshot.
So the rest of the family says, we don't like you anymore, we'd rather be with this guy. So Grug thinks it's a good idea to try to kill Guy here, but it doesn't go too well. So even though they hated each other, now they like each other because they're in Tar now, and they said, well, my parents died here too, and it's like, well, I'm jealous of you, so we relate to each other now. I like you now. Also, they easily get out of the tar pit in like 2 minutes later. Wow, what a struggle. So Grug here is like, I gotta sacrifice myself by throwing all of you over this random chasm that they were some reason stuck in. It goes on for a very long time, and the movie treats it like it's very emotional, even though he doesn't die, actually, so what's the fucking point? It goes on for a very long time, like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm an asshole, even though I really didn't do that much wrong, but whatever, fuck everybody, I'm gonna fucking die here. And it goes on for fucking 10 minutes, I know I'm saying the F word a lot, but it's so long, and it's so melodramatic, and it's so pointless, because he doesn't die. It's like, what's the point? He also draws a picture. Okay, that was very, important. So, yeah, he gets out by using some weird mechanism, obviously, after getting done drawing his picture. He's like, I gotta save all the animals. Like, what am I watching? The Croods or a Super Metroid speedrun? So all the characters are crying because they think their dad died, even though he doesn't die, so what's the fucking point? It's not sad because you know he doesn't die, so what's the point? And that's the end of the Croods. I guess his snapshot idea wasn't that terrible, because he does use it again. And they all die. The Croods, I don't really have much to say about this movie. Well, actually, I did. I guess I did. It's one of the most movies so far in the DreamWorks ranking. It's the movie I came back to watching, because I took a little break to watch a bunch of Christmas movies. If you didn't know, well, while I'm watching it doesn't really matter. But either way, I did take a little break in between this and Rise of the Guardians. And to say the least, this movie is just not that great. I don't think I'll be rewatching it anytime soon, unless I really have to. It's overall fine. I can see why some people might like it, but me, it doesn't have much meat on its bones. As the movie says itself, it doesn't really have a brain. The Croods gets a pretty low ranking, though I think I ranked it a little higher than I did the second time. I saw it when it came out, and not in theaters, but at home. Didn't care for it as a 13-year-old. Didn't care for it the last time I saw it, like a year ago, and I didn't really care much for it this time. But it's nice in between Madagascar and Prince of Egypt. And yes, I am standing by Prince of Egypt is not that great a film. Any film that says, oh, this religion is better than this religion, and fuck you, is not a movie I'm that big a fan of. Sorry, Prince of Egypt fans, but it has good elements, but just I can't get past its really bad moral messages from an outdated book. Oh, this is the part where I rank the villain. Well, I can't, because there is no fucking villain in this movie. Yeah, there is a cat, but nope, I'm a cat person. And there's the end, but yeah, so even the obstacles in the movie aren't even considered villains because they're good at the end or some weird shit. It's not very good. The fact there is such a little conflict is one of the main problems. It wouldn't have been that big of a deal if the characters were that interesting, but they're really not, so it's another big problem is that there is no villain. And DreamWorks is pretty good at making villains. I like them. Even Prince Charming there. And yeah, that's about it. See you next time when we talk about Turbo.